Chapter 8. I'm on a tour of her studio lot, apart from a potential vigil donor. I've been in meetings with her people for a week, and it's the day before I'm about to leave. The lot is mostly empty. I try to imagine the people who are usually here: directors, extras, stars. This is part of the point, I suppose, to look around and picture busy, beautiful faces shifting in and out of focus in front of this caramelized facade. I wonder how it would feel to work here or even live here. There's a movie where they did that. Real people living inside a giant illusion. But I can't remember its name. I see in my mind only Jim Carrey's big white teeth, blank and expectant as the squares on Wheel of Fortune. The people in this tour group don't cohere, which is probably normal. There's an older white guy with 4 strands of hair. He's combed over his pate. There are 2 middle-aged white women who are sisterly in the way of sisters who live in the same town and have maintained their family culture. They wear clothing of the same genre: canvas shoes, tan slacks, flowery impressionist blurs on their blouses. There's a family, Chicano or Salvadoran, a husband, wife, young boy, and younger girl, all with a stifled, harassed hair. There's another white guy, this one in his mid 20s, in a business suit, too hot for the weather. He wears glasses that darken into sunglasses whenever he comes out of the shade and asks endless questions in an authoritative tone. The guide, a portly Asian woman whose backward walk is pleasingly graceful and has an impressive command of our names, has to repeat the man's queries in a shout so our answers will make sense to everyone else. There is me, and there's the man dressed in dark blue jeans, a pastel button down shirt, and a black and orange baseball cap. He would seem corporate, a businessman on vacation if it weren't for his shoes, brilliant white high tops. His grin is wide and prolific. He is beautiful, a category beyond handsome. And this makes me feel both susceptible and suspicious. He sidles up to me when the tour stops in front of the fake ice cream parlor. Under the hilly sound of the guide's voice, up and down, up and down, he makes a joke about cherries. I conjure 2 alternative lives for myself. In one, his comment offends me enough that I tell him to F off. In the other, I flirt back until we achieve a delicious camaraderie. Instead, in this life, I smile stiffly and turn away. I always picture these forking paths of transgression, but I can never rise to the occasion of slipping into one. My deviance is too buried, too inwardly directed. By the time we get to the Ferris wheel, which is fully functioning but out of service, my demurals have allowed a pattern to emerge between me and this man. He makes rough jokes. I smile and turn away. He's teenagery in his teasing, not standoffish or dry witted the way I'd expect. It's frustratingly unclear, actually, whether he's coming on to me or not, an ambiguity that titillates me more than I want to admit. The tour group shuffles into a western set, a salon. It is nothing like the sleek surfaced bar I went to last night, which had lamps that cast light upward and fountains that dribbled over stones in the background. But the set is still somehow reminiscent of a dating scene. I imagine people dressed to the nines, standing at the long mahogany bar. They hold a drink in one hand and gesture with the other, as if weighing possibilities, equating pleasures. This fake salon, the guide says with a rote peppiness, has appeared not only in several westerns, old and new, but also in two dance films from the 80s and on an indie movie in which the characters visit a new bar retrofitted to look like an old bar. The younger white guy smiles at his phone. I feel unnerved by the desolatory stillness of the place. The sawdust, like tail under our feet. The tall, beautiful man leans in towards me to make another joke. I catch the word lasso and I move out of earshot. I'm more skittish here, perhaps because of the aura of awkward mating rituals. He again steps towards me, sawdust wafting, and again I shift. Too far. He doesn't walk away, but he cuts off the seeking energy he's been sending towards me. I hadn't meant to end the dance quite yet. As soon as it's gone, I miss it. Long for it even. I push the feeling aside. This man has me too off kilter for a stranger, and press forward as if fascinated by the fun facts tumbling out of our guide, as if amused by the widely held difficulty of bursting through swinging doors. When the tour moves onto the hangar-like structure of the sand stage, and the guide begins to hold forth on its uses, history, peculiarities, I head to the ladies. I glimpse next to the salon, more for the brief peace of solitude than out of any prestigious need. I take my time, reapply my lipstick, linger on my face in the murky mirror, trying to see what the man would have seen, trying to see the trace of my yearning. I leave the bathroom, then the building, and inhale the air outside deeply. I always hold my breath in public restrooms. Across the four cobbled street, a marquee curves towards me. It's a movie theater set, or maybe a large screening room. It's garish, and I wonder how I did not notice it before. Warmth emanates distantly from it. The goggle-eyed bulbs around its edges lit up despite the sun. The marquee sign reads, "The Grifters." The E is reversed for some kind of noir effect. And beneath True Romance, the empty glass panel ticket booth looks like a tiny lighthouse. I walk towards it, my footstep muffled by flat red carpet. I look up at the rush of bulbs embedded in the overhang. Some of them are out, and for a moment, I seek an inverse constellation, but there's no discernible pattern. I peer through scratched plexiglass at the old, lurid posters, the curves of the movie star bodies, the movie star fonts. I assume the theater is locked. The guide has been expertly unlocking doors all afternoon with a bulky set of keys. So I'm surprised when one of the doors opens, and even more surprised that I pushed at it in the first place. The lobby is dark, but for the faint glow of an electric sign, a red and white striped box with an orgasmic spray of popcorn, there's another booth-like object in here. Also, glass paint from the waist up, but harboring a mass grave of stuffed animals and a dangling silver claw that looks like it should be swinging. I remember this game from bowling alleys. I search my purse for change for too long before it occurs to me that the machines fake a prop and will likely just swallow my money. I step into the theater itself, the door with its porthole window rocking closed behind me. It smells musty and sweet, like buttery dust, blinking at the darkness as if to dispel it. I walk down the easy slope. As my eyes adjust, I can make out a mechanical mess on the floor, right beneath the screen. It's films, equipment, rivets and spools and ladders, objects I can decipher as microphones and lamps. The screen itself is blank, framed on either side by plush curtains. I turn to look up into the darkness behind me and see that the projection booth is alive with light. Maybe there's someone, maybe there's some screening. Maybe that's why I decided to sit down. I find the spot I always want and never get because I never buy tickets in time. Right in the middle of the theater, the wooden chairs are in rows of about a dozen. They have no arms, and their seats are flipped up like they are hugging their knees. I use my axe to push one open and sit. The sound of the hinge creaking and the seat clanking flat is loud in the dark. The screen seems to ripple. The theater is just big enough to give the impression of an audience. A camera could pan around a couple dozen extras crunching snacks, gazing at the screen instead of the movie stars right there, pretending in all their beauty to watch a movie, which is, of course, a movie of themselves in a theater watching a movie. I lean back and close my eyes. There's a cinematic sense of anticipation, but maybe everyone feels this way nowadays. Life seems both monotonous and constantly interrupted. A punctuated heart monitor line of events with baby Sam before and after on either side of the pit. Time doesn't creep like a worm or fly like an arrow anymore. It erupts, it turns over shocks, revolutions, cycles on TV, online, in the prosthetic minds we carry in our hands. It's as if something immense or catastrophic is always on the cusp of happening. Everything feels asymptotically dramatic on the verge, as if only a disaster could undo that universal past disaster. Being born at all, we are all heroes of a cataclysm now. I think of something Caleb, my secret admirer from St. Anne's, my aspiring rapist, once said. He had confessed that he often walked around wanting to punch people in the face. You fantasize about starting shit. No, it's like I'm a hero. I save people. I stop someone from hurting someone else. It's always like some effed up situation, and I just walk up and knock someone out. Dude, you are such a dude. Girls don't wanna be a hero. Well, I often imagine violence, yes, but it's a knife sliding steadily into the back of my neck or the dead center of my forehead or dragging under the tender swell of my breast. Does that make me a hero of a kind? The name hero comes from a woman, as I learned in a woman's rights class. She was a priestess who threw herself into the sea when her son drowned. Or was it her lover? Either way, hero should be a mourning word. I think of my mother, hero to thousands of women, mourning for her loss, suffering for theirs. Hey, my eyes snap open and I freeze. Am I imagining it? It feels like when you hear a voice call your name right when you are about to fall asleep. I did not mean to. Who's there? My voice sounds cowed. I'm right behind you. I turn. The beautiful man from the tour is sitting there. I stand up, my purse strap already on my shoulder. He tilts his head and crosses his arms. I'm not trying to bother you. His voice says, he doesn't mean it. Listen, I say, this is a little creepy. You following me in here like this? Actually, I was here first. Seems like you are the one following me. Yeah, okay, whatever. I roll my eyes. Why don't I leave you to it then? I sidle my way down the narrow row, my knees bumping the chairs in my haste, knocking, knocking on the wood as if for good luck. Wait, what? I turn to him. See, right? He smiles, and I know it's Wayne. Everything buckles. My knees under me, the seats beside me, the floor beneath us, the air in my lungs. All of it breaks up and out. There's a trundling sound of staccato blows, then a high-pitched squeal. The projection booth shatters tinily above us, and I'm on my hands and knees, searching for patches, for solid ground across which to crawl. An alarm barks rhythmically, and I hear the man calling for me in the pauses between blasts. I feel a touch. It's this hand groping along my body to find my arm, which he grabs, pulling me to my feet. We are in the main aisle now, his face in mine. He is yelling, "We have to get out of here." His mouth is so close, I can smell his breath. Almond berry, a darker earthy scent. A boom slams the air, and we hear the groaning thunderousness again, trailed by creaking, cracking noises. He pulls me along the ground. It's unsteady beneath us. The earth centers has melted, and everything shifts, and we stagger. The edge of a seat bites into my side. My foot catches something metal, and I stumble, twisting my body at the last second to avoid tumbling headfirst. My purse slips from my shoulder. I curse and let go of his hand to reach for it, and when I turn back, he is gone. There's a scream of smoke ahead of me in the aisles, and he has disappeared into it. I taste blood in my mouth, and a heavy, broken thing crashes down and lands in the aisle in front of me. The smooth stomach and cross-hatched tail of a mermaid statue. I look up to see where it fell from. A baroque chandelier is swinging with abandon. I understand that I can see more than I should be able to. It's too bright for this space. At the exact moment that I feel the heat and smell the smoke, I scramble to my feet. The theater is coming into focus, blooming in the light of the flames. There are frescoes on the walls. The curtains are pink felt. There are unusable balconies above, from which delicate burning trash drifts down. Now, like autumn leaves, I hear a shout. The man is standing by a neon exit sign, spectral in the smoke. His hands are cupped around his mouth, but I can't make out a word. The rows of seats to my side erupt upwards in an arc, giving off a sound like a bowling ball hitting pins. That's when he runs back to me, his arms outstretched as if in a parody of a dream. It is him, I know it. The knowledge spins through me like the Gerard light in a marble held up to the sun. Swaying, I turn my head and look back down to the front of the theater, where the screen is flapping and twisting as flames clamber up its edges. He reaches me and grabs my hand. The fire begins to roll towards us, rising in a towering wheel that swiftly surmounts the intervening space, closing in as we run.